Okay. We're gonna try our best, you know? Now that I'm alone in here, the first thing I'll do is check out the room. It's not all that bad being shut up in here this way, but the fact that Sella seemed to enjoy it so much is another story. No ceiling that would descend and crush me, or briars that will growl the floor, or walls that will close in on me, or a wall that will flood in, right? After investigating the room and finding it free of any traps, either modern or antiqued, I feel safe for the time being. I don't know. Is she? I'll just fall asleep in here. Man is the kind of animal that if he really puts his mind to it, can sleep just about anywhere. It's different. Ilya's coming in now. I sit up from the floor at the arrival of a sudden visitor. In through the door comes Ilya. After a glance at my surroundings... this is the only time that Ilya actually finds us here. I mean, no, your maid like forces to sleep here. Looking what must be somewhat desperate, I hold in a yawn as I answer her. Oh, she's definitely shocked now.
Yeah. セラがエミヤ様の寝室はこちらですって有無を言わさず。
Okay. Maybe we're gonna be saved this time. You know, all the other times Sela just forced us to sleep here. Even during the time that we helped her out, she just gave us a blanket. But maybe we'll have a proper guest room this time.
そうだな。でもベッドを用意してくれただけでも情報だと思う。
You must not, my lady. A doghouse is more than appropriate for an underfed dog that may bite you at any moment. Albeit lacking in taste as he is, I'm sure he will voice no objections to it. Ha 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 ha. I guess that's Sela. Burning with righteous indignation, Ilya pulls me towards the door by the hand. Hooray, we're gonna be saved by Ilya. But... Oh. Wait, why is she here? In the darkness. It's funny how that... How that... I guess, I don't know. They like made a custom animation for her to be just sliding out the pillar there behind her. Anyway. The dark maid appears without a sound. Can these maids just appear at will anywhere in the castle or something? And though her uniform is mostly white, it's certainly appropriate to call her dark.
そもそも宇治素性の知れぬ下々の者にお嬢様のご厚情はもったいなく、本来は犬小屋に押し込めるべきところをあえてこの部屋を、それもわざわざ寝袋まで用意して差し上げたのです。アインツベルンのもてなしとして十分だと判断しますが。
Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
セラ、下の客室すぐに用意なさい。
お嬢様。
こんなところにシロを寝かせておくわけにはいきません。彼は私の客です。
ですが、大旦那様には部外の者をみだりにこの城に泊めることは禁じられて。
Not good. This is turning into a quarrel between Sela and Ilya.
二人とも
After clearing my throat to draw their attention, I speak up.
いや、俺はこれでいいよ。
Okay, we're not gonna get a comfy guest room after all. We're gonna have to stay here just so they don't argue.
シロ？
屋根もあるし、窓もはまってるし、寝袋に穴も開いてないし、一晩の宿なら十分だ。森の廃墟で寝ることに比べれば大したことじゃない。
感服いたしました。エミヤ様は物を見る目がおありになる。
Sella slowly nods. She seems almost sincere, the key word being almost.
そういうわけで今日はここで寝るよ。豪勢な夕食だったし、それを思えばこれぐらいどうってことない。
そう、シロ。
エミヤ様もご納得の様子で安堵いたしました。それではお嬢様、消灯の時間です。お部屋に戻りましょう。
あ、じゃあな、イリア。
うん。それじゃあまたね。
It is our fate to sleep in this storehouse. I noticed that neither of them said goodnight. You've got to admit, as a bedroom, this place is severely lacking creature comforts. But all I have to do for it to stop bothering me is fall asleep. Just turn around. Huh? Nani? The creaking of a hinge reaches my ears. Just as I was finally starting to fall asleep, too, the moment I thought that, I realized someone else had come into the room.
お兄ちゃん、起きてる？
Ilya's back?
イリア。
She came here alone this late at night?
ああ、起きてる。もしかしてさっきのことで。
そうよ。今ならセラもいないでしょ。さっきは気を使ってくれたけど、私やっぱりこんなところにシロを寝かせるのは嫌。
イリア。
Well, she came all this way alone through the dark of the castle night just for me? Refusing her after all that would be more impolite than anything.
俺もバカだな。初めっから好意に甘えればよかった。それで俺はどこに行けばいいんだ？
すぐ近くだよ。私の部屋で一緒に寝よう、お兄ちゃん。
Ilya's room, huh? Sounds good to me. What did she say? Sleeping in a room and together at that? FBI, open up. You idiot. You baka. She's like your little sister. No, wait, if that's the case, then what's the problem? I mean, Ilya may be small, but she's still a lady. That's definitely a problem with just jumping to bed with her there. Well, really, this whole situation is nothing but one big problem.
どうしたの、シロ？目に落ち着きがないけど。
Nothing's wrong, yet an incredibly ominous feeling is clinging to me. I can't go, and yet I can't tell her that I won't.
シロは私の部屋が嫌なの？昔閉じ込めたりしたから？
That did happen before, yes.
いや、それは関係ないんだけど。
もし私の部屋に来てくれないなら、私もここで寝るんだから。
Foom. She flops onto the cheap air mattress. I've decided I can't allow Ilya to sleep in a place like this.
そうだな。悪い。イリアの言葉に甘えさせてもらっていいか？
もちろん。やったー。今夜はずっと一緒だね、シロ。
She's in a good mood. If that's all it takes to make her happy, then this must have been the right choice, right? And then Shiro gets arrested. Pomp, what are we going to do on the bed? Anyway, that prison cell, well, you're gonna get a new prison cell anyway. I mean, temporary guest room. Can't even be compared to the gorgeous bedroom I find myself in. Sleeping here with Ilya would be much more relaxing than spending the night alone in that room, or so I thought anyway.
シロ、あっち向いてて。
え？
この格好で眠るわけにいかないでしょ。ちょっと着替えるから。
Ah, that's right. It's different for her.
どうしたんだよ、イリア。
もしかして、私の着替えを見たい？お兄ちゃんならいいよ。
Hey now, what the hell do you think you're saying? Ilya may not be quite old enough to feel it, but there should be some natural shyness between a boy and a girl.
はいはい。そういうことでシロをからかっても面白くはないわね。じゃあ、あっち向いててね。
Okay. I do as she tells me. True, a part of me does regret the missed opportunity. Wait a minute, Shiro. Chotto mate. With that, silence returns to envelop the room. I hear the rustling of clothes, and after that I sense her slipping under the covers behind my back.
はい。いいよ、お兄ちゃん。
Okay. Ilya and I lie in the bed side by side. Even if we both stretch out our arms and legs, there's room to spare.
ねえ、もっとそっち行っていい？
いいぞ。というか広すぎて寄り添わないと隙間風が入っちまう。俺のせいでイリアが風邪ひいたらセラとリズに合わせる顔がないよ。
そうよね。じゃあ本当に遠慮なしで。
And this is when the SWAT team comes in, they throw a flashbang. No, okay. Her body snuggles close to mine. Her laughter, though colored with a slight shine, isn't happy. Coming here was the right thing to do. This bed is too big and cold for such a small girl to sleep in alone. Okay, it still kind of weird, but alright.
シロの体温ちょっと厚めだね。
This is weird.
なんか湯たんぽみたい。
Even if she is like a... I don't know, I mean, she's a homunculus, so technically she doesn't follow the rules of human age, but I don't know, anyway.
湯たんぽってまた古い道具知ってるんだな、イリア。
ええ、キリツグがね、あっちにいる時にお母様に話してたのは、思ったよりここは寒い、湯たんぽが恋しいって。その気持ち、今ならちょっとだけ分かってあげてもいいかな。
Elia nestles closer, rubbing her cheek against my chest. The way she's holding on to me, I almost feel like a big teddy bear. Speaking of which, this room sure has a lot of them, and you will probably turn into that teddy bear in one of the bad ends.
ぬいぐるみを抱いて寝たりするのか？
ボニファーチウスやオットは？うん、時々ね。
Bonifacius. I hear she's still thinking of some pretty, or rather, I see she's thinking some pretty unique names for them. The thought of Ilya dressed in her pajamas and cuddling up to a teddy bear is a lovely image, but also a very lonely one.
そうだ、初めて見るよね、私のパジャマ。どうかな、似合ってるかな。
I pat her suddenly inquisitive head. Her hair is as smooth and fine as in any silk. She smiles under my hand and snuggles up against it.
かわいいぞ。童話に出てくるお姫様みたいだ。
今までね、そう言ってくれる人って誰もいなかったから。
The gentle warmth has begun to permeate Ilya's little body. She should be able to drift off into a peaceful sleep now.
お兄ちゃん、
なんだ？
子供の頃、一緒に誰かと眠ったことってある？
Long ago, Kiritsugu had the tendency to take off on long journeys at the moment's notice, so he wasn't around much, and Fujine didn't stay over much back then, so I don't really have any memories like that.
イリアこそお母さんと一緒だったか？
It seemed like a normal response to her question. But as the words left my mouth, I feel her tighten her hold on my chest. Her body went rigid, as though out of fear, I gently stroke her back to comfort her.
あれ、変なことを聞いた。俺も誰かと一緒に寝ることがなかったから緊張してる。
Okay. The weird subtext between, you know, a grown man and a little girl, but that's fine. They're the brothers sisters. It's fine. It's familial love. Anyway, at last the tension fades from Ilya's body. Her faint warmth and gentle sleepy breaths resume.
いつも一人っきりでベッドに入ってたから冷たかった。今はお兄ちゃんと一緒だからあったかくて気持ちいいから。
A yawn follows on the heels of her drowsy proclamation.
今はもう夢物語だけど、これからずっとシロと一緒に眠れたのなら私は幸せだったのかな。
Half of what she's saying at this point must be sleep talk, but I know she means it. Through her drowsiness, Ilya speaks almost as if someone who's no longer here.
そっか。けど、いつもは困るな。 俺、寝相が悪いかもしれないし、その度にイリアを幻滅させちまいそうだ。
知ってるわ。でもそんなのいくらでも直してあげるから、安心して。
Fix you? That sounds ominous. What do you mean by that? I feel her wrap me tighter into her embrace. The warmth has permeated my body too, and I can feel my eyelids growing heavy. I feel like I'm hearing my own voice from somewhere far away, as though it belongs to another person.
シロは私が一緒じゃないとダメなんだから。
The words of the half-asleep Ilya tickles my ears. Her body is faintly warm and soft like a kitten's.
そろそろ寝ようか、イリア。
そうだね。シロの毎日はこれからまだまだ続いていくんだもの。
Well, this Shiro anyway. We're gonna time loop again, so...
それじゃあまた明日ね、お兄ちゃん。
Sounding well satisfied, her voice fades to a murmur before gentle sleeping breeze, or gentle sleeping breaths replace it. Feeling her body temperature against me, my consciousness drifts from reality into a happy dream. The night of the 4th day wears on. I lie submerged in a happiness gentle enough to bring tears to my eyes. In the midst of the many ends now approaching, this slumber remains the only point of pure, unclouded bliss. And thus Shiro proclaims that he slept with Ilya, and then he gets murdered by Sela. Anyway, which is why it's a little sad. Because if it's this perfect, the loss when I next open my eyes will be the greatest yet in these many new beginnings. Oh. Bloop. Wallpaper, okay. Look at a lot of wallpapers. And we thus exit that loop, and as Shiro, I guess, goes on to live his life, but then we go get another Shiro. Is, I guess, how it works. There you go. Actually, well, I probably shouldn't do that. Probably shouldn't have done that, because I believe there was another scene with Karen, actually, in the morning of the first day. I kind of did that instinctively. Well, I just go the next day. Alright, there doesn't seem much. No new scenes, I feel like. Very little, anyway. And probably nothing at nighttime. Well, actually, I skipped night, but actually, maybe there's something during the night. I don't know. I always check it, but then there's nothing to do. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing. It's just nothing. Nothing here. Nothing here. Guess I'll just check night one more time. Whoop, whoop, 4th day. Back to 4th day, and we're back here, I guess. Well, we can go to the outskirts again. Let's see. Might as well do the trivia again, why not? Let's do the trivia again. Let's go to Forest Ruins. Have a horrible feeling, but let's do it anyway. And she's back. I assume, yeah, this is the same, right? Okay. Last time we chose elementary, but we like failed it. Should I do it again? I don't remember what the answers are though. Let's do moderate actually. Let's do moderate quiz. How many scrolls are hanging at the back of the dojo in Emiya residence? I don't remember that. None? I think? It's wrong, damn it! I don't remember scrolls in them. Okay, this one's pretty hard actually. What's the one MMO that Ilya-chan does not like? I mean, Tiger, maybe? No, that's wrong. Damn it. Star of Creation, that's supposed to be part of Heaven and Earth. What's it called? I know that. It's Inuma Elish. That's Gilgamesh's Omo Phantasm. No, probably have to do these quizzes again. Go to Minotaur, read the basics of Mapo Tofu? No, self-defense. I know that. Sakura-chan has an older sister. What's her name? Tohsaka Rin. Mato Shinko. Okay, so and then yeah, we have to skip the scene because we get the same scene, I guess. Same scene where we like lose basically. Okay, so now we can't choose the other one. Actually, interesting. Because there's 3 options again. We're back at the storehouse, sleeping in the attic. We don't get the scene with Ilya anymore. Interesting. Or we don't get to choose it anyway. It's like a one-time scene. But we can choose the option where we go to the ruins, maybe? I don't know. It sounds like a horrible idea, but let's do it. This is a bit sudden, but let's go to the forest ruins. I have a definitively bad feeling about this, but I also feel that a wonderful encounter awaits me. Oh, okay. You know what that means? Probably gonna be Tiger again or something? Tiger? Are you around? Okay. So you were here after all. For those of you who have no idea who this character is, try visiting the ruins before sunset. Yes. Well, it's Taiga, but like not Fujimura, but like the meta Taiga from Taiga Dojo. Advanced edition.
ユニットバスはもうコリゴリ広い湯船で思いっきり体を伸ばせるハートフルな贈り物よ。ちなみに紅葉は需要競争、家内安全、爆撃型機動要請による金運上昇とかよりどりみどりです。
おー、嘘くせえ。
Applause. Hot springs, right. Renovated bathrooms, the most you could possibly expect from this quiz ogre. Nevertheless, the very sound of the words hot spring feels wonderful. Lured in by that feeling, I end up responding with applause as well.
信心深い君に幸あれ。今回のクイズに全問正解した暁には嬉し恥ずかしなイベントが目白押しになるのです。お風呂は日本の心です。お風呂は裸でエッチです。
エッチです。
女の子が入ってるのにうっかり入っちゃって大変だな、もうヒューヒュー。
Well, that's already happened in Fate Stay Night. Like, 2 times actually.
だが、そんなユートピアは許さねえ。行くぞ、これが最終決戦だ。
何？
そこでエロガッパ。ただれた私生活を送りたかったら、この私を超えていくがよい。
Okay. The main heroine of this fan disc is Fujimura Taiga. I mean, sure. Damn it. It is. The Fate's main heroine is Fujimura Taiga. Sure. Alright. Fujimura Taiga got the first place in the Fate popularity poll by a wide margin, too. Yep. Okay, I'm choosing the wrong ones. Why not? I already chose wrong the first time, so it's already too late. Of course, this is the era of Fujimura Taiga. All wrong answers. Fate has a hidden 4th route. Fujine's heart-throbbing 7th period honey class. There isn't even a 7th period anywhere nowadays. It's a hidden syrup class as well. It's not just a 7th period either. Like, I feel like those are all wrong answers, though. Can we even win that? I sail through the air like a leaf. Yes.
ないんだけど、ああもうひどいなこの問題。
Unleashing a cry like that of some great beast, the quiz ogre howls. The roar itself was just sobbing.
とまあ、そんなわけで残念ながらトレジャーカードはあげられません。私としては何枚でもあげたいところなのですが、公私混同はいけないわよね。
Man, I was hoping that by choosing all the... Because I already chose the wrong the first time. I was hoping like choosing like all the Fujimura Taiga ones would actually unlock like some sort of like special Taiga bonus, but I guess not. It's just my desire to have like a Fujimura route. The quiz ogre sniffles as tears roll down her cheeks. Truly, this is the tragedy of middle management.
ともあれ、ちっとも嬉しくないのですが、今回は私の勝利でした。お宝が欲しいのなら、またここで会いましょう。なんかどっちに転んでも私には辛い勝負だけど、君の挑戦を待ってるわ。
The quiz ogre staggers away dejectedly.
なんか悪いことした気分だな。
I probably shouldn't feel such half-assed sympathy towards her. I won't hold back next time. When I come here again, I have no choice but to answer mercilessly until I take her down. Okay. I guess that ends. We go to sleep and we exit the loop. Alright. Once again. Alright, I should go to the streets because there is one more scene we can have with this little nun here. Let's do that. No signs of people in the plaza. The House of God stands quiet, no visitors in sight. This place stands far away from the world. Place confession. Just like him. Flow times are irrelevant. Okay, it's the same thing. Well, now it's the second time, so let's do that. I start walking toward the church. Of course, I don't really have any business here. I got all the information I needed last time. It's obvious that this woman is still hiding something from me, but I don't think she'll tell me anything more than she did last time. Her help isn't needed to resolve this incident, and yet we're going in again, though. I just want to see her. I place my hand on the door while grumbling. There are both good premonitions and bad ones, and deadly ones too. Without a doubt, this sudden urge to come here isn't going to be a good one for me. Or me, quote unquote, I don't know. The hymn continues. I take a seat and wait for the end of a long reminiscence. Closed gardens. Old bitter dreams. It's a story from not long ago. The priest that was here 6 months ago would rend open the hearts of people with his words and actions. Yoru Kobe. His methods were indirect and coercive. It would seize an opening to trample upon their deep wounds. That woman is the same as the priest. Her methods differ, but this music deprives people of their affections as well. It's somehow unsettling. This is most likely an incredible performance, but I can't bring myself to embrace it. Maybe it's like lyrics, or I don't know. Magical lyrics. An empty sky. It says, rest your mind and let yourself stop moving forward. It says, take a break. If you're tired, you should rest your wings here. That kind of talk is irresponsible. Telling someone to rest when they don't have the power to stand in the first place is like telling them to end it altogether. You must not stop. You must not seek rest. Once you've started, you must fill the cup to the brim. Continue on in circles fill up every day, abyss of slumber before the end, the built temple. Okay. Her performance was over before I knew it. I breathe a sigh of relief once I no longer have to listen to that unbearable piece. And, before I knew it, that woman was standing right in front of me.
Yeah, お疲れ。いい曲だったな。
I lift my head and, without standing, begin to applaud. Clap, clap, clap.
あなたは音楽に関心が？
ついさっきできたところ。調べたなら知ってるだろうけど、割と無趣味なんだよ、俺。真面目にオルガンを聴いたのはあんたと知り合ってからか。
I mean, there was only that one time though, and the second time, I guess.
なんだ。つまりそれぐらいあんたの演奏はお上手だったってこと。
Apparently, my blatant flattery paid off as Karen nods, satisfied. I noticed that Well, I think she has bandages on her left hand, but I don't see the bandage on her right hand anymore. That's weird. Unless it's covered up by the sleeve. I don't know. And brazenly complains under her breath. Apparently we weren't listening. I thought we were.
バレてた?
Judging by her reaction, she must find it meaningless to even answer. Well then, this silence is a bit awkward. Somehow, time goes by. I didn't care about talking with her in the first place, so I'm completely okay even with this unpleasant silence. I settle into my seat and squint toward the sun rays beaming through the skylights.
確認するのですが、あなたは私をもう用済みだと言いませんでしたか？
言ったけど、ここは教会だろ。用がなきゃ来ちゃいけないっていうのか？
I immediately respond to her unspirited question. How do you say immediately? You know, for some reason, immediately also sounds right to me, but I don't know why. Is that like some sort of accent? Immediately. Immediately. Immediately.
そうですね。訪れる者が迷いを抱えているのなら拒めません。
No, there's bandages. Just didn't see it because, yeah, it was covered by sleeves. I don't know. Still don't know why she has bandages, but...
もっとも、あなたは子羊には程遠いですが。
辛辣だな。けど、何も言い返せないな。懺悔したいことは見当たらないんで、やっぱりあんたに用はないや。
では、私との接点はありませんね。
Our conversation ends on that note. The church fills with silence once again. She ought to understand my stance here, and yet Karen stands unmoving in front of me. We haven't got any business with each other, so she could just leave me alone and go back to her room.
他に話はないのですか?
What's your favorite anime? No.
だからないって。
Why not? Can't just have casual conversation? I guess not. This is annoying. If we don't talk about something, she'll be standing here like this forever.
わかった。じゃあ、あんたの話。
Yes, tell me your backstory.
はじゃなくてさ。こっちから話すことはないんだから、そっちが話すしかないんじゃない？俺、ネタはないけど、あんたの話なら聞くよ。
なるほど。それはもっともです。ですが、話すと言っても何を？
なんでもいいよ。話題がないときは自分の素性とか趣味とかネタにするといい。自分が何者かを示すのは会話の基本。
That's how we get all the backstories from all the characters.
それはそうですが。
Give me some exposition, just like the good old times with the other priests, you know? It always seems like Kirei was always the one that gives like really long expositions. I don't know.
そのようなことであなたはいいのですか？
いい。話してくれるなら聞く。
I'm not really interested, but if this woman wants to talk, I can't stop her. Besides, no matter what kind of talk it is, it'll probably be entertaining as long as it's something I don't already know.
わかりました。あなたには必要のない話とは思いますが、これも何か意味があることかもしれません。
After that, Karen goes silent for a short while. Probably because she isn't used to talking about her own history. She seems to enter a deep meditation while trying to recall her past in silence. Okay, are we really gonna get like, you know, a big dump of like her background? Let's see. Alright. In the end, it was a predictably tedious tale. She was born in a country in southern Europe and lost her parents soon after. Her father was unknown to begin with. Her mother had a weak constitution and died 1 year after her birth. Official records state she was killed by a robber, but in reality she seemed to have taken her own life. The church treats suicide as a transgression of the Lord's teachings. It's not a mortal sin, but those who have taken their own lives will never pass through the gates of heaven and will suffer eternal torment in purgatory. It's actually a good story. Her mother was a devout believer that, in the final moments of a painful life, found a purpose great enough to rebel against the Lord. However, that purpose her mother found was meaningless to a small child. No matter how wonderful the meaning she found was for her, it didn't change the fact that she turned against the teachings of the Lord and left her child behind. Nobody was left to take care for the child. Her mother had no relatives and her father didn't come forward. The prevailing opinion among the people was that her terminally ill mother had birthed the child from an unknown man, like a harlot. With no relatives, the child was entrusted to the priest of a small church. Her mother was a believer that took her own life. Her child was placed in the hands of an exemplary devout priest who looked with contempt upon the woman who had premarital sex with a passing stranger. Oh no. The child was entrusted to the house of God without a single piece of luggage. However, she did have one belonging: Karen. Her mother had left her nothing but a name. The priest did not give her his family name, instead leaving it the same as the mother who committed suicide. That name was Hortensia. It's the name of a certain flower that blooms on rainy days. The girl lived with the priest for about 8 years. The priest was filled with love towards the Lord, but shared no love for the child he had taken in. He was providing funds for her upbringing, yet made her work as a servant of the church instead of sending her to school. Just by being born, the girl had sinned. She was not baptized at the time of her birth until to welcome her into childhood, she would be given nothing of the Lord's love. Seems like, at least, the people of the Lord, they seem very picky. The priest declared that until then, the human known as Karen could not be recognized as a child of God, even though they always say that everyone is a child of God, but I guess you're not. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how it works. I don't know how Christianity works. However, it was questionable if this unusually strict priest would be generous enough to baptize an orphan at all. There were 2 reasons why the priest did not grant her a proper education: in order to reduce unnecessary expenses and to prevent her from gaining knowledge. Knowledge must not be given to the child of a beast. That's the first step toward wickedness, and more than anything else, it would be inconvenient in various ways if she gained the capacity to think for herself. I guess, if you sin, that means you don't get human rights? I don't know. After all, defiance and exclaiming harmful truths to the masses would affect the dignity of the house of God. To pray was all the priest permitted her to do. He instructed her to give herself to God. This continued for 8 years. I have a feeling that maybe this priest is not a very good person, but maybe she became used to suffering, or maybe her emotions were broken from birth, like her father's. The girl didn't think of her life as difficult. She learned of the Lord and of man by watching the priest. She perfected her innocent prayers over those 8 years. And then came the year when the girl was of age to receive baptism. Stigmata appeared on her body, and the priest accepted his defeat. He could no longer control her. He opened the gates of the church that imprisoned her and handed her over to a much larger world. The fortress-like structure of the monastery was built deep in the forest. She cut her connections to the outside world and earnestly continued abiding by the teachings of the Lord in a larger prison. I guess Karen is just deeply religious. It was a separate world. For the men who lived there, it embodied the very virtues of poverty, purity, and the meekness that they strove for. The monastery was a self-sufficient community consisting of devout followers, and all necessities for living were made within the monastery. The followers made their own food and clothing, and as a modest pleasure, a small amount of wine and cheese. The detailed rules for each monastery are different, but the principles are the same. It feels very medieval. I don't know. There is only labor for living and prayer for the Lord. Inside the high walls, there was a world of peace and harmony. To achieve a union with God, they renounced the ways of the world and reformed a closed society of the chosen faithful. Sounds like a cult. Naturally, that lifestyle requires more discipline than at a local church in every aspect. The girl was accepted by the Cistercian order, I don't know, some sort of religious order. Among the monastery, monasteries. That place had a particularly long history and a strict discipline where love of the Lord rivaled even the worth of a person's life. To eat, to work, to worship, to choose. Even those universal rights were not extended to those not loved by the Lord. But who gets to say that? I don't know. By that standard, the girl did not even have basic human rights. That's what I was saying, you know? If it's to the point where it trumps basic human rights, I don't know about this. This seems like very dangerous. It's like a cult. No, her very existence was unforgivable. It was unthinkable that the venerable Cistercian, That's how you say it? Cistercian. The venerable Cistercian order would take an orphan child into its ranks. The girl was accepted in the monastery solely because of the stigmata that dwelled within her body. Stigmata? What does that mean? Like, I don't know. To spontaneously be wounded, to bleed, and to be healed. Knowledge of this ordeal has passed by the faithful. From the perspective of those believers who live on the other side, it was clear that the girl possessed an unusual power. When it was recognized that she was an advanced spirit medium, that she could sense the nearby drifting spirit matter, act as an intermediary, and materialize into this world through her own flesh, the girl's value skyrocketed. Invest now into Karen. That unusual ability is not something that can be cultivated with training. An ability held from birth, it's a genetic predisposition unrelated to the will of the individual. Such a rarity having a high value is only natural. Karen or Tensia, rare talent, will achieve unprecedented results in a particular ritual. In light of this report, the Holy Church entrusted this young girl to the Cistercian? It's different now. Cistercian? Was it Saturnian or Cistercian? I don't know. Cistercian monastery, or is that, I guess, that's the adjective version. But then again, no matter how valuable she became, the church never bestowed the Lord's love to her. The girl was given a room and education, and trained as an instrument of the Lord. She was taught to conduct herself as a perfect believer so that she would not bring shame upon the church's name whenever she went outside. As a general rule, a person who entered the monastery could not live outside of it. Oh, press the wrong button, whoops. They may move to other monasteries, but being outside of a monastery altogether was not permitted. However, she was not invited to the Cistercian nun. An agent. She was delivered only as an armament of the church for assistance in demon exorcisms. A weapon is intended to be guided by the hands of man. She was permitted to leave the monastery only when her unusual talents were required to make known the Lord's might. Okay. Very similar to Bazett, Bazett McRemitz or something. How you say her last name? I can't remember. Well, it's like Bazett. She's like a weapon of an organization. So the might of the Lord was not meant to be torn toward humanity. It should be directed toward the wild ones who do not fear the Lord, the demons that threaten humanity. To manifest evil, a demon has to take over a human's body. To cleanse this person and reveal God's love to humanity was the task given to the woman. No, to the agent using the woman. Okay. It's kind of weird, It's like there's obviously there's a real life, religion and Christianity, but this is like supernatural Christianity. It's like as if, demons actually do exist. So it's kind of weird though. I don't know. Because I was talking about human rights, but what if there is actual demons in the world and you do have to do all this weird religious stuff to actually exorcise them. So maybe it's required to do that sort of thing, to be cruel at times. I don't know. She was employed by an exorcist, a special priest, one allowed to act as a representative from the bishops of the diocese. They answer calls for aid, visiting the towns of the possessed to exorcise demons. It was closer to fighting than praying. Her master frequently said to himself that the work was like washing the bottom of hell's cauldron. Exorcisms vary in severity, and the ones her master faced were the particularly intense ones. They did not concern themselves with imposters who blame their own mental breakdowns on demons or with monster outbreaks. Their opponents were only those who had completely turned into demons. The tragedy caused by a true demon isn't something that can be endured by the human mind. All towns visited by the exorcist has deviated from the world of humans. The damage inflicted? I think, isn't it inflicted? I don't know. Inflicted by a demon isn't limited to the possessed, but also spreads to the people around them. More than the possessed person, their spirits, rather than their bodies, are twisted into deformed monstrosities. Again, this guy reminds me of Junji Ito. I think I said it before, but like, I've been binge reading Junji Ito like manga short stories, and this kind of reminds me of that, you know? As their master would say, it wasn't far from a tour of hell. It's like monsters in the world, you know? Actual demons causing chaos. Oh no. In an exorcism, the weak point that most easily succumbs to death is none other than one's human reason. The body's ability to survive is not that important. In the first place, the extent of a human's power cannot compete with the likes of one who has turned into a demon. Also reminds me of, Cthulhu, you know? The old gods, the ancient ones, making you go all crazy. Oh no. The physical body is protected by a holy relic, embodying the miracle of the Lord. However, the spirit must be defended by one's own will. What is required in the exorcism is ironclad faith. In that respect, too, the woman was suited for exorcism. It is probably for the best that her emotions shifted so little. It is said that the exorcism of a true demon is something that could not be endured twice, but she continued to perform them indifferently. The woman was Violet Halley. She had the life of a nun and the role as an agent of the church. The workload assigned her was nothing short of backbreaking. It probably would have overcome any normal person within a month's time, although as far as she was concerned, it was not much different from the daily work she used to do. For her, who couldn't really understand things like fun, torture had become indivisible from work. Pray and work. What is it? It's very small. Ora e labora. That like... I remember, is that E-T? It's really hard actually, I can't see it, but I believe E-T and is French. Is this French? I don't know. Maybe? Maybe not. It's ironic. Maybe like, Latin. Latin tends to be like a language that's often referenced as like an ancient, mysterious language. Well, those words which symbolize the monastery had become to symbolize her own life as well. Okay, and that's her story. She's like a special nun.
要するに、教会から修道院にたらい回しにされて、そこで天職を得たってこと?
Or rather, not really a nun, but like, like a special, church agent that goes around exorcising demons. Demon Slayer.
そういうことで間違いはありません。
Karen seems to pout a little as she nods. Oops, was she offended that I summed it all a bit too much?
なんだ。勘に触った?
はい、驚きました。初めからそう説明すればよかった。
Yeah, again, it seems like, all members of the Holy Church have a problem with, まとめ方ですが、次から使わせてもらっていいですか? Giving long expositions. What did Shiro say actually? What did he say? You should hand it off to the monastery and you found your true calling. Okay. Her admiration and proposal are both sincere. No, it's not really a summary. What is her true calling? Well, I guess her true calling is like fighting demons, but like just for the sake of fighting demons, that's because that's all she knows, I guess. Not for like any kind of like, usually, in a lot of stories, characters tend to do something like, fight monsters because they, had a traumatic experience with monsters. Therefore, they like get revenge on all monsters everywhere, or something like that. Something cliche like that, but not necessarily for this person, I guess. Her admiration and proposal are both sincere. Whatever, I honestly don't get this girl at all.
元からあんたの著作権だ。使いたいならじゃんじゃん使ってくれ。
感謝します。今の簡潔さはどれをとっても真実です。
I'm not sure how to react seeing her act that pleased right after telling such a depressing story. Well, somehow I just felt that way. This woman is actually pleased with having that kind of life up to now.
それはいいけどさ、そこまで話したなら最後まで聞かせろよ。
Wait, there's more?
悪魔払いであんた何するの？
Well, no, it's not fine. It's not, but I want to clarify this part first.
何もしませんが、私には悪魔を払う言葉も奇跡も与えられていません。
No, she
私は死に付き添って歩くだけですが、
just does nothing. She just doesn't do anything. She just stands there.
は？付き添って歩くだけってそれだけ？
What the hell? Is this guy she's calling Master a coward? Don't tell me he was just afraid to go to towns where the possessed were by himself.
何に憤っているかは聞きませんが、その短絡は間違いです。エクソシストになる者は悪魔を恐れません。
Though I can probably guess, how she's useful. Like she wasn't really properly trained as an exorcist, that's what she said, but most likely her innate ability to do something. I imagine her ability to, relating to when, like a weird monster bursted out of her chest. She probably like somehow her ability to, I guess, be sensitive to demon possession or something. Maybe that's like part of it. I don't know how that would help her though.
恐れるのは心が折れることだけです。
へえ、ご立派で結構だけど、それなら一人で払ってればいいだろう。あんたが付き合う必要はないんじゃないのか？だいたいなんだ、飛躍霊媒体質だっけ？あんた悪魔の近くにいると憑依者と同じ霊障を生んだろ？
Yeah, that thing. Masochistic pneumatic automatism diathesis? Something like that.
なら助手っていうより邪魔者だ。火事場にガソリンかぶって飛び込んでるようなもんじゃないか。
それが私の役割です。霊障を受けること。それが魔を識別する最短の方法ですから。悪魔は人の目に見えず、取りつかれたものは変貌するまでわからない。いえ、神聖な悪魔は巧妙に憑依者が悪魔付きであることを隠蔽する。育ちきるまで外敵を呼ばないよう極力霊障を抑えるのです。
Oh, so basically she's a demon detector, is what she is.
残念ながら育ちきった悪魔を払う術は教会にはありません。エクソシストにできることは彼らが育ちきる前に発見し、これを払うことだけ。悪魔となった者は焼却するしかない。それを可能とするのは異端審問に特化した代行者だけでしょう。
ああ、そういう用途なわけ。
That was weird. I couldn't see what that was actually, that weird static. A sudden emotion destabilizes me. I feel just a bit disgusted. Demons can't be seen by humans, only the host knows he's possessed. The first and most difficult step in an exorcism is finding the demon that conceals its true identity. Even for a skilled exorcist, identifying a demon is like walking on a tightrope at all times. This is where she's useful. She has a idiosyncrasy that responds lustfully to the surrounding demons and evil spirits and causes the effects of the possession on its own. From the church's perspective, it's an extraordinary heresy. Although it would normally be a useless genetic trait that would be harmful to even let exist, there's one specific purpose for which its radical effectiveness is demonstrated. In short, this girl is a living detector that sheds blood to inform the others of demons. Well, yeah, that's what I said. It makes a tearing noise. It breaks her arms, crushes her legs, and rips her womb from the inside. Even the form returns, the function does not. The sight from those dull golden eyes was lost long ago. Okay? This bell-like voice may not be resound in reality. These are her true colors. She's a messenger of God who saves others by mutilating herself until death. her true calling was well said.
そりゃマグダラの生涯譜にも選ばれるわ。
It takes some kind of reason to endure such unreasonable pain. She gives unimaginable pain to herself. Even if she doesn't want it, injuring herself is still a masochistic act. You cannot injure yourself out of hatred. Your deeds are not something that can be done without love or faith.
一応聞いておくけど、それって拒否権はあるのか？ねえよな。あったら断ってる。
それも間違いです。教会は厳格ではありますが、非道ではありません。悪魔払いの役職には拒否権があります。
Really? I'm surprised.
なら、なんで悪魔払いなんか手伝うんだよ、あんた。
そちらの方が意味がありますから。それに、私には外も内も変わりはありません。
Going outside to perform exorcisms and being inside the monastery are no different. So that's it. I thought before that she was riddled with bandages and reeked of disinfectant, but it's no wonder. A demon stings the very heart of a human. No matter where she goes, she can't avoid getting hurt.
まるでゴミ箱だ。悪魔払いを手伝う理由になってないよ、そんなの。
I also noticed, yeah, there's also, I think that's a bandage on her neck as well. I guess that's why she's always bandaged up. Because of her ability.
あんた、
I guess that's it.
うちの一つもないの。
自分が人に比べてハンデを負っていることは理解していますが、それも生まれついてのことです。恨んだところで始まりません。このように生まれついたのなら、その定めに従うだけです。
なんだそれ。治そうとか考えないのか？病気みたいなものなら体質改善とかしろよ。
治療法は発見されていませんし、治したいという希望もありません。自分は不幸なのだと嘆けるだけで十分です。それに、私は確かに傷を負いますが、それは私の傷ではなく誰かのものです。哀れみこそすれ、恨むことはありません。
What? Holy shit. The hell is she talking about? Okay, that was weird. Who's that?
はい。このように生を受けたのですから、その定めに従うだけです。
She says she'll take everything as it is. I can't speak for someone who, I can't speak for how someone else might take it. But this kind of thing doesn't sit well with me.
あんたさ、何がしたくて生きてるんだ？
人生に意味が必要なのですか？
いや、そんなものは意識しなくていいけど、あんたはさ、何もしないために生きてるみたいだ。そういうの、頭くるんだよね。
Someone had complained about something like this sometime or other. It was... I don't like it when people aren't rewarded for their hard work. When were those words said? Wait, wasn't that... Actually, I don't know. I feel like, because there's some parallels here, actually. With, you know, again, a lot of parallels, but like, you know, Shiro and Archer, you know, his whole deal. I wouldn't call it saintly, because I think, yeah, those words were spoken, like, by Shiro, probably, right? Or maybe... I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't remember. Well, I wouldn't call it saintly. After all, those imposters known as saints don't try to award results because it doesn't fit the equality they preach. They'd never speak of being rewarded in the end. That's why these are nothing but thoughtless words. It's not even hypocrisy, but a questionable, naive wish.
また空気が変わりましたね。先ほどは苛立ちでしたが、今は明らかに怒っている。
Apparently, she can read my expression even with her eyes closed. But unfortunately, that's not quite right. It's not that I got angry just now, but that I'm always in a bad mood when I'm here. Yeah, I always feel that, especially last time Shiro was here, he just seemed like a different person. I don't know. He's not like the typical, like, haha, I'm a dense, you know, harem protagonist. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll try to do the right thing or whatever. But now, every time he's talking with Karen, he's like, he always seems pissed off. And he hates her for some reason. I don't know.
まあいいや、あんたにもポリシーがあるだろうし、いちいち口を出すことでもなかった。気に食わないが思うようにやってくれ。
そう、あなたは我慢できない人なのですね。
She pushes back with a blunt tone. Is it her turn to be angry now, or does she just return to her usual self? She looks at me with conceited eyes appropriate for this church.
何それ。
別に、あなたとよく似た人を知っているから比べてみただけです。もっとも、その人は我慢できる人ですが。
Someone like Shirou, but patient instead, I guess? Who would that be?
もない人間だけど、面白い共通点があるものですね。
And now she's smug. Look at her smug grin. She grins proudly. I don't think it's appropriate for a substitute priest to flaunt her malicious intent.
何言ってるかわからないけど、あんたの知ってるやつと共通点なんかないだろ。
知らぬは本人ばかりなりね。エミヤシロウは自身の欲望を殺し、世の不条理を許せない善人。対して彼は自身の欲望を許し、世の不公平を黙殺する悪人。
Is she referring to Yorokobe? Shonen?
正反対の位置づけなのに共通項が多すぎる。まるで合わせ鏡の悪魔のよう。
An unpleasant smile appears on her face. I figured out something. Karen has even less individuality than I do, but she gets excited at the idea of rubbing someone's weak spot the moment she discovers it. The troubling part is how effective her nose with this stuff is. This woman uses her unmatched senses to sniff out the scars of others. Reminds me of another certain person that does that.
その正反対のやつってなんだよ。
昔話に出てくる人物です。あるところに国中の罪を受け持って死ぬまで罰を与えられた罪人がいました。彼は至って善良な青年でしたが、何の意図もなく罪人に選ばれた。人の意志による行為ですが、そこに人間の意図はなかったのですから、天の意志と言えるかもしれませんね。
Well, I thought she was talking about Kirei, but maybe not. She's talking about someone else.
天の意志ね。そんなものに振り回されて牢獄行きか。さぞ世の中を恨んだろうな。
いいえ、恨んだのは初めの数年だけ。彼は最後に人々を許しました。
Forgave all mankind sounds very familiar.
長く転変する世界を見て、きっと全てを許したのです。
憎しみは長く続かないってやつか。それはほら、なんだ、加害者側のさ、都合のいい願望だろ
う。でしょうね。彼に根付いた憎悪はもはや永劫と言えるものです。私たちが呼吸をするように彼は常に人を憎む。そういう存在になっている。その憎悪はもはや生態であって感情ではない。
Well, now I'm confused. I thought she was talking about, you know, Jesus, but maybe not. Maybe she's talking about Avenger, right? Angry Mayu. So it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know. What is she? I don't know who she's talking about. She's too cryptic. I don't know.
そのあり方で彼は全てを肯定した。世界は憎むに値する。人間は千差万別。何が起ころうともそれは不条理ではない。不条理には憎しみをもって相殺するから好きにしろと。大抵の出来事、大勢の人間の欲望をそれもよしと許容したのです。
そりゃすごい。善人じゃなくて聖人じゃないか、それ。
いいえ、全てを肯定するということは 時に最大の悪性となる。わかりませんか？全てを許すということは、強者は強く弱者は弱いと切り捨てることなのです。加えて彼は個人の欲望を賛美する。本人がいいと思うことをしろと。善悪の観念はなく、ただそうであれと肯定している。
What a troublesome person, Karen adds. Or is she talking about, I don't know, she said like an old tale, but this just reminds you of Kirei. Again, I don't know. Who is she talking about? I have no idea. That certainly is troublesome. A mindset like that would end up endorsing crime.
まずくないかそいつ。あんた神様の代行なんだから今のうちにしょっぴいとけよ。ほら赤い布とか使ってさ。取り物は得意だったろ？
ご安心を。捕まえるには及びません。確かに恐ろしい存在ですが、放っておいても構わないでしょう。基本的に彼は無能で無害ですから。
何その言い分。ずいぶんひどくない？
真実を言ったまでです。何しろひたすら受動的で面倒くさがり屋な性格ですから、率先して悪を行うことはありません。
ならいいけど。で、そいつと俺のどこが似てるんだ？
わからないのですか？本当に？
I don't understand either, really, but alright.
世界を愛しながら憎むか、憎しみながら愛するかだけの話なのに？こんなにも決定的に違っていながら、ただ順序が逆なだけのあなたたちが？
Which one is Shirou? I'm asking because I don't understand, or so I was about to say, but it seemed like a waste of time. I didn't come to talk about this sort of thing to begin with. I just came here on a whim, listening to her talk as she pleased. I have no obligation to rack my brains over some uncomfortable doubt like this.
質問。なんでこんな話になったんだ？
It's obvious now that Karen's switch has been flipped. This contrived shift in behavior is something I've seen often with Tohsaka Rin. She Sun mode turned into Dere mode? I don't know. What do you mean by that?
驚いたわ。それもわからないの？あなた本当に高顔なのね。
他人の喜怒哀楽に疎いというのであれば同感だけど。で、人を苛立たせた理由は何だよ？
呆れた。いいわ。そっちなら答えてあげる。今のは私を勝手に測ったお返しよ。
Examining? I haven't even tried imaging? Imaging what's underneath that unfashionable robe of hers, or is it imagining, rather? It's like you're living to do nothing. Oh, well, that's what Shirou said, actually. Well, I might have offended her by saying something like that was a bit too on the nose. In any case, I think staying here any longer would be even more uncomfortable.
帰る。そんなに話がしたけりゃ、公園で適当なやつを捕まえろ。
A simple matter of going whoosh with that red cloth of hers.
ですから、私はあまり外には出られません。あなたは暇ではないのですか？
あんたに会うまでは暇だったけど、今は遊んでる暇はない。とりあえず目標をくれたからな、あんたは。
Kara responds in comprehension. That's right, I figured out my path from here on. I socialize with her because she's a valuable source of information, but I should hurry back if there are no more leads.
じゃあな、もし次があるなら、その時は少しぐらい役に立ってくれ。
And again, Shira is so dismissive of her. I don't know. Probably because, you know, if she was actually just Kirei, then maybe I'd understand. But, like, I feel like, I don't know, she's just like a cute waifu. And yet Shira is so dismissive. But I guess, if it was like Kirei, you know, like a Kirei lookalike or something, like and then like, and he would be like saying it like exactly the same things, then maybe, I don't know.
次にあなたが来た時、迷っているのなら道を示すと。
I'm just confused because, you know, she's like a white-haired, golden eye, like she's obviously such a waifu. Is it as if she has, like, if she would have, like, maybe her own route if this was like a dating sim or something. But I guess not.
あなたは何のためにこの異常を解決したがるのです。
そりゃあお前。
Then why is it exactly? Why am I obsessed with the resolution of this anomaly? Even though after the 4th day it will be as though nothing ever happened anyway.
いや、それは。
愚問でしたね。我慢できない人と言ったのは私です。エミヤシロウにとって困っている人に手を差し伸べるのは当たり前のことでした。
With a poof, all doubt vanishes. Now that she mentions it, that's right. Because it was something I didn't need to think twice about, it probably wasn't even a reason at all. I can't believe it. But those are the kinds of thoughts that fill my head of mine. I stand up to leave. Weird, okay. Like he's doing this just to help someone? I don't know. She looks at me as though she still has something to say.
そんなにこの場所が嫌いですか？それともここより街での生活の方が刺激的ですか？
半分当たりで半分外れだよ。ここは嫌いだけど、街をぶらつくよりはまあ新鮮味があって悪くない。
They say you'll get tired of even a feast if you don't try different foods every now and then. It's simply enough to have my everyday normal life to go back to. Things like excitement and passion can come later when I've forgotten about them.
じゃあな。そんなわけなんで、ここもあんたも気に食わないけど、気が向いたらまた邪魔するよ。
Yeah, Shiro just really hates her for some. I don't know. It's also like it's not just because she's a cute waifu, but also it seems like undeserved. Like, what did she even do? I don't know. Unless she also keeps like dead orphans or undead orphans in her basement as well. I don't. Anyway, I start walking towards my daily life.
あなたの毎日は楽しいですか？
どうだろう。とりわけ感謝しなくちゃいけないほど強烈に楽しいってわけじゃないが。
I have to confess, rather than calling it fun, it's also dazzling. It's sometimes a little painful. I leave that foul church behind. With the organ's venom fading, I can finally think straight again. Karen says it's only natural for Emiya Shirou to save someone, and she did mention that. I don't know what that means though. But still, just who am I trying to save? Yeah. That's what I was confused about. What is he saving? What's the reason? I don't know. Oh. Okay, this is different. I gaze at the pleasant blue sky. Taking a break after a meal to enjoy some tea out on the veranda is a particularly special reward. It is a very ordinary nature that makes such everyday happiness the best.
それで調べてみたら該当するサーバントとマスターがいたわ。
Ren? What?
聖杯戦争が開始してから4日目で脱落したのはアインツベルンのそこボケっとしない。せっかく調べてきてあげたんだからちゃんと報告を聞きなさい。
いや、あれ、遠さか。
You just forgot that Tohsaka was there? I'm momentarily confused. I look down to find Tohsaka sitting beside me.
遠さかじゃないわよ。まさかあんた今の話全部聞き流したって言うんじゃないでしょうね。
A sarcasm-free, direct-to-the-point question is very uncharacteristic of Tohsaka. The Tohsaka heir is infuriated to the point of forgetting her own family's always elegant motto.
すまん、聞いてなかった。
Excuse.
そもそもなんでここに遠坂がいるんだ？
I'm worried that she might have just teleported here or something. I truly don't have any memory of Tohsaka coming out here and sitting down next to me.
何？もしかして私が帰ってきたことも分かってないの？
バカ言うな。そこまでボケてないぞ。多分遠坂が隣に座って羽を伸ばし始めたのに気づかなくて、話しかけられてもこれまた気づかなかっただけだ。
それ
十分ボケてるけど仕方ないわね。変な夢っていうか、エミヤくんはまだ4日間に苛まれてるんでしょ。疲れてるってことで見逃してあげるわ。
ああ、重ねてすまん。自分でも今のはちょっと怖い。それと、なんだ、別に寝ぼけてるわけじゃないから、そう覗き込まないでくれ。
そうよね。ちょい近すぎた。
Tohsaka leaps to her feet. Until a moment ago, she was incredibly close to simply pushing me down.
じゃあもう一回だけ説明するわね。あなたの言う4日間が何なのかってことだけど、それが何者かが聖杯にかけた願いだって仮定を採用するとする。この何者かが何なのかを知る手がかりはやっぱり4日間の縛りだと思うのよ。はじめ聖杯にも限界があって4日間しか再現できないものかとも思ったんだけど、それなら1日を永遠に繰り返せばいいわけでしょ。
だよな。聖杯は持ち主、召喚者の願いを叶えるだけのものだ。そこに自分の魔力をセーブしようなんて考えはない。
そうだから4日間でセーブしている理由は他にある。聖杯の契約者は何らかの理由で4日間しか聖杯戦争を再現できないのよ。で、ここで重要なのは開始でも再開でもない再現ってことね。エミヤくん、この意味わかる？
Not really. But I still don't. It's still a bit confused about the whole reproduction thing. But I guess they needed 4 days? I don't know.
そりゃなんとなく。
Still a little bit confusing.
そいつは一度聖杯戦争を体験していて、そいつを再現してるってことだよな。
よくできました。そこにさえ気づけばあとは自明の理よ。
So I guess the idea is that the culprit is only someone who has ever experienced a Holy Grail war, maybe.
4日間しか再現できないのは聖杯の力が足りないからじゃない。そいつは4日間しか聖杯戦争を体験できなかった。
Okay.
4日目で脱落したから、そいつにとってその先の聖杯戦争は再現できないのよ。
そいつってのは4日目で脱落したマスターってことか。けどそんなやついなかったぞ。
私たちの聖杯戦争にはね。
But maybe like another Holy Grail war? Is that what you're saying?
で、以前の聖杯戦争の記録を調べてみたら、ちょうど4日目で退場したマスターがいて。
以前の聖杯戦争なんて関係ないだろう。再現してるのは俺たちの聖杯戦争なんだから。
そう思うでしょ？けどちょっと違うのよ。あくまで例え話なんだけど、あなたの言う4日間は白紙の脚本で、私たちは役者なんだと思う。この脚本は白紙だから役者たちは好き勝手アドリブできるんだけど、たとえ白紙でも4日間という上演時間だけは決まってるから。
何? Tohsaka jumps backwards.
トーサカ？
結界が反応しかけてる。シロ、一緒に来て。外に良くないお客さんよ。
Okay.
本当だ。
Something's happening.
小さいけど警報が鳴ってる。鳴る前によく気づいたな、トーサカ。
She's likely set up a similar barrier around herself as well. Ever since leaving for London, Tohsaka's power has been steadily rising. What an ominous prospect. She's very powerful. She's an arch wizard. Oh no. Right on Tohsaka's heels, I head outside. Without turning to face me, Tohsaka gestures behind her back for me to stay on the alert and cover her. I reply with a nod and ready myself for a battle. Facing Tohsaka now is... Hey, Bazett. Okay. A woman I've never seen before. In the flesh, that is.
こんにちは。こんないい天気に何のご用かしら。魔術協会の魔術師さん？
We haven't seen Bazett for a long time now.
それはこちらのセリフです。
ここはエミヤ切り継ぐ氏の屋敷と聞きましたが、なぜあなたが出てくるのです？確か彼には養子がいるということですが。
エミヤ君に用ですか？彼はあなたたち教会にはまだ関わりはないはずです。伝言があるのでしたら私が代理として受けたまわりますけど。
Tohsaka's grinning, but there's a firm rejection written all over her face. In reply,
今あなたと戦う気はありません。いたずらに警戒されては私も反応してしまう。ここでは人目もある。魔術刻印を止めなさい。
the woman casually pushes back. It seems like Tohsaka had activated the crest on her left arm. Having her potential insurance against a surprise attack seen through so quickly makes her grow even more agitated. But Tohsaka should have already realized how meaningless it is. The woman standing before us isn't looking for a fight, nor does it seem like she's planning on a surprise attack. That's because her power as a magus is easily 3 times the level of Tohsaka's. Nani, she's even more powerful. She can punch things really hard. If this woman made up her mind to fight us, she wouldn't even need a surprise attack to overpower us completely.
わかりました。今日は視察だけということでいいのですね。
ねえ、マスターとして戦いに来たのではありませんから。しかし不用心なのは感心できませんね。日中だからとセイバーを連れていないとは。
セイバーを連れていない？
Tohsaka's voice sounds a touch perplexed.
そうか。お互い生きているということはまだ出会っていないのか。話は簡潔に済ませた方がいいということですね。
Okay, she's talking in a weird way, but alright. Like, both of us are still alive, which means we haven't met each other. So she's like, Bazett's aware of this like time loop thing, because I think she's still thinking that it's still the Holy Grail War. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of this monologue of hers. The woman's gaze is fixed on Tohsaka. Their conversation doesn't match up. All it would take is a mention of the date, servants, or even the woman calling Tohsaka by name. Neither Tohsaka nor the woman seem to notice the chasm that will make itself known the moment one of them misses a step. A balancing act precarious enough to send shivers down my spine. This is a miracle on the level of walking across a bottomless pit on a tightrope. I look on wordlessly. I don't know how many times now Tohsaka's told me not to interfere should a magus from the association come. As I survey the woman standing before me, I feel dazed, or more accurately, astonished. The one who wasn't there, who shouldn't have existed at all, the 8th Master.
おかしな話ですね。今になってエミヤ切り継ぐの遺産を鑑定しに来たのですか？彼は教会には属さないフリーランスの魔術師のはずですが。
エミヤ氏の遺産をどうするかは私の管轄ではありません。私は前回の聖杯戦争の勝者である彼に興味があるだけです。
She knows about that though.
それはあなたとて同じでしょ。この町に眠る聖杯を得るため、こうしてエミヤ邸に訪れているのですから。
Tohsaka's doubt turns into confidence. The misaligned gears have shifted back into place, and this disjointed conversation has finally started to make sense.
ちょっと待って、聖杯って教会は何を勘違いしてるの？聖杯戦争は終わったのよ。今回の儀式が大失敗して聖杯を召喚する礎そのものがなくなった。冬季の聖杯戦争は第5次で終わったでしょ？
A magnificent sense of balance, and yet she slipped up. Of course, tightrope walking cannot continue on forever. It's an obvious fact, and yet this woman still came all the way here. Why?
確認するわ。あなた、第5次聖杯戦争がもう終わったと言った？
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, all the Bazett seems to be like about the 5th Holy Grail War, but you know, when we're Shirou, it's like kind of like the 5th Holy Grail War is already over, though. But is it? Like, who's correct here? I feel a chill. If she were to nod, a fist fight would occur the very next instant. And yet, despite tremendous bloodlust emanating from the woman, Tohsaka goes ahead and nods right in front of her.
ええ、この町にはもう奇跡は呼び出されない。第5次聖杯戦争は聖堂協会が派遣した監督役琴峰綺麗の違法によって幕を下ろした。
Yeah, Kirei kept, he kept, you know, what's the word? Interfering. That's the word. He kept interfering with the whole Holy Grail War.
あなたたちだけでなく、教会側も彼の死をもってこの土地から手を引いたわ。
Nani? Wow. Okay, wow, she has...
綺麗。
Okay, why is her face, like, shocked? Something falls. Though the woman was ready to use her strength to push away even the fact of the Holy Grail War being over, at the sound of that single name, she lets the mask of steel fall away.
琴峰が死んだ。
Nani? She, like,
半年前に死んでいる。彼は第5次聖杯戦争の勝者であるエミヤシロウに倒されたわ。
I mean, if you remember, actually, we did have like a flashback scene involving Bazett and an executor, which, I mean, it's kind of obvious, probably because there's voices, actually. When I think about it, you know, in the original Hollow Ataraxia, there probably wasn't voices, but, you know, there were a lot of hints. But basically, Bazett and Kirei probably knew each other, you know, from a long time ago. So, maybe she's shocked about that? Well, Tohsaka's eyes shift towards me.
エミヤシロウ。そんなマスターは知らない。いえ、今回の聖杯戦争に勝者がいるなんてそんな。
Okay, now she's going crazy. There's no way I will recognize one, says the burning hatred in the woman's eyes. Several seconds pass. Tohsaka takes a step to forward, protecting me.
ねえ、さっきから気になっていたんだけど、聞いていいかしら。あなた、その片腕どうしたの？
She asks a very odd question.
え？
What do you mean? I don't know either. Two surprised voices make themselves heard. Yeah. Huh? Nani? Huh? Eh? As though suddenly remembering something, the woman reaches out her right arm, or rather her right hand to her left arm, and everything comes falling down. I had no time to call out to her. The woman flees at full speed, running as though she had just seen a ghost. Although if you ask me, I'd say it was Tohsaka and I who were visited by one.
魔術協会も人材不足ね。末端の管理ができていないのかしら。
Either she has no desire to chase after the woman, or she doesn't dare to try. After saying a line that sounds like she read it from a script, Tohsaka turns around to face me.
ま、今のでしばらくは寄りつかないでしょう。なんか精神的に不安定なやつだったけど、実力は本物よ。私たちだけで戦ったら返り討ちにされてたし、勝手に帰ってくれてラッキーだったわ。
But like, what she mean by what's wrong with her arm? That was weird. I wonder... Well, we'll see, I guess.
で、エミヤくん、今の人を知ってる？私は初めて見る顔だったけど。
いや、俺も初めて見る顔だった。
Technically, even though we've seen her in our dreams, I guess. Or we know about her.
けど、ものの見事に無視されたわね。凄腕の魔術師だったけど、エミヤくんが魔術師だってことは気づかなかったみたい。
いや、今のは無視っていうより、初めから目に入っていなかった感じだった。
So she's one of those types who thinks that the vast difference in our level of ability make me unworthy of her consideration. Suddenly, my training feels very inadequate.
なら大変ね。彼女、きっとあなたの敵よ。なんとかしたかったら、セイバーの手を借りなさい。
And so, Tohsaka directs a backward glance at me, her brightness of a moment ago vanishing.
何が言いたいのかわからないんだが、もし戦うならセイバーと2人で行けって？
そう、 それでも無理ならランさんに相談しなさい。あいつだったら彼女の手の内は知っているでしょうし。
Okay, I don't know. This encounter, a conversation spanning only a few minutes, was enough for Tohsaka to grasp the workings of the whole situation. Yeah, it seems like Rin just knows everything now. But that is all. She is able to suggest a way out of it.
先に戻ってるわ。この件に関して私はもう不干渉だから。解決したいのならあなただけで解決して。
Saying so coldly over her shoulder, Tohsaka heads back indoors.
いい女だな、あいつ。
Those words just slipped out for some reason. Wait, what do you mean by that, Shiro? This doesn't mean that Tohsaka's abandoning me. Just the opposite. It feels like she's done all she can to give me a chance. Okay. Alright. Now what? Well, there's another scene on the bridge, I guess. I don't think it's, I don't know. I feel like we're getting close to, like, some sort of conclusion with the whole, like, the whole Bazett thing and the 4-day loop, I guess. But for now, though, we'll go to the bridge. I don't know, there's a new scene here. Maybe with Archer again? Oh, we're just humming to ourselves. I guess.